Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. This is John with Flippin' Ain't Easy. And as you see, Jenna's not here yet again. She's still in Texas, and she'll be with us on Friday. So bear with me. I will try to be myself as much as I can. I know that in the past, when I was doing this by myself, it was a very nervous kind of thing. You know, you're here talking to yourself, essentially, to a camera. And I know you guys are here with me. So just it's still kind of new being by myself. So last Friday we had Primo Chemo with us, and we had a good time. And hopefully we can also have a good time today. So hopefully your sales were good over the weekend. Mine were really weird. They're just really strange. Friday, Saturday, not so great. Like mid $100 days, really not great at all. And then yesterday bounced back about a $500 day. And today has been pretty good as well. And I kind of chalked it up with the idea that I just, to be honest with you, I've been doing the work, but not as much of the work. And that might be part of it. Jenna's gone. I've been playing golf. I've been, going playing cards and all kinds of stuff when normally I'm just working. And it's not going to be a thing, but it's just kind of nice to get away. Talking about the video that I put out about a week ago, talking about burnout and that type of thing. Being able to get away once in a while, it's kind of nice. So anyway, with that said, really interesting weekend. And another reason why I wasn't around on Saturday is because I found out Friday night when I went and met my friend Mike at the casino after the live. He's like, yeah, going to get up early to go to the yard sale. Well, what yard sale are you talking about? Because he doesn't do yard sales. He's like, no, I'm going to do a yard sale. I'm like, why didn't you tell me this? Now, remember, this guy, Mike, he just got a job in Italy effective April. He's got to be out of his house, and he's pretty much selling as much stuff as he can because he's going to be going over to Italy for 2 to 4 years on some contract through the Air Force. And so I'm like, okay, well, how about this? I'll come and help you with the yard sale. I'm going to bring some of my stuff. You guys know I have like a lot of the stuff I've been waiting to have a yard sale here with. Well, I just got home, loaded the car up. We're talking maybe 3 to 4 tubs, as much as I could fill in my SUV, and rolled over to his house about 6:15 a.m. We got ready. He put up the signs, and it was a very, very interesting day. This guy has a lot of stuff. He actually gave me some stuff. Gave me a PlayStation 4 with some games and controllers, a Samsung tablet. He gave me a bunch of electronics, a Rollo printer. And then he had a bunch of things out for sale. And I'm like, yeah, if you're selling it that cheap, I'll buy it. Even things I don't normally sell, like Ralph Lauren polo shirts that have like Italy on it, polo shirts. How about a Calvin Klein leather jacket from 1987 that he's owned since then. He's just like, I don't fit into it anymore. I'm just going to get rid of it. So there's a lot of things like that. A full bag of golf clubs of various types, like 20 to 30 clubs. So pretty good haul. I actually made about $250 on the stuff that I sold, but I ended up giving him about $150 just randomly buying stuff throughout the day. And so it was a pretty good day. Now, on to my diatribe, and I'll try to keep this brief, and I don't want it to come off as me griping, because you guys, this is nothing new. eBay has really not shown the sellers that we're even valued in any way, shape, or form. If they go in and suspend or get rid of a seller, even a high volume seller, it's not a big deal to them, because I guess they may feel that for every seller that they get rid of, they're going to get another 1 or 2 sellers that are come in and take our place. That has to be the thought process, because there's no reason in my mind for them to not communicate with us any better than they do, which is next to none as far as I'm concerned. And I've always said this before, no one's asking eBay for the patents. Okay. No one's asking for trade secrets. We're just simply asking for a heads up. If you're going to make a change to the app, put out something. Hey, there's a change to the app. They have a section in your seller hub that basically will explain different things that they want us to know. I think the last update they came out with was, I'm trying to find it here, so bear with me. I don't have it in front of me for some odd strange reason, but it wasn't very important, whatever it was, and I'm getting it right now as we speak. Upcoming improvements to the authenticity guarantee process. Okay, they came out with that. Now, how many sellers? Again, they're giving preferential treatment to their featured categories, but the rest of us are like, okay, what about these other things you're changing? How about this? This is an important nugget they thought to communicate with us. Feedback display shows verified purchase. Now, anyone who knows anything about eBay knows you can't leave a feedback for anyone unless you bought something. Okay, that's a given. The idea that it's that important to put verified purchase next to the feedback, yeah. And do the customers really even read that? I mean, do they care about that? Are they even looking at feedback? Talking about just random things, and it's like these are insignificant compared to how do I go in and send an offer and not have to send a bulk offer? Now, you guys know that the way to do that is when you're in the app, you go and hit cancel if you have multiple offers to send, and then that'll allow you to go in and send individual offers. But you have to kind of tinker with that. I think Ken, No One Design, told us about that on Friday's Live, and thanks to him for doing that. But it's just like, come on, eBay. It's like, at what point? I mean, thankfully, I think I have a lot of knowledge on eBay. I think a lot of you guys that are watching do as well. But there are going to be people who just started are going to be like, okay, I was able to do this a week ago. Now I can't because eBay made some weird changes, and they're going to be up in arms, and it's just not a good experience. And if eBay looks at us as their customer, and they should value the customer experience, and it should be a low effort experience when we're on the platform. And it just seems to be every day it's something else. And I know eBay watches these videos. They have to. They have a media team that does. And it's like, why eBay, if you're watching, why do you make us guess anytime you make a change or anything starts happening differently? Like, anyone want to guess April 1st of last year? There's a lot of folks that were like, what's going on? Things are really changed now. And eBay was just quiet. And that really needs to stop. No one's infringing on your secrets. No one's cracked your algorithm. We just, as sellers, want to be able to run our business in a way that is conducive with what you want us to do, with some of the changes that you're changing on the site and on the app. And we want to be able to know that we're doing the right thing based on the direction you're going. And if you're making constant changes to things, or if you're changing traffic, we have 2 million impressions one day, and then we go back to that same time frame to check again, and it's like different. Well, that's problematic because we're sitting here trying to figure out how to run our business, and eBay is not being a good faith partner, I'll say, in that process. So I want to know what you guys think in the comments down below. That's my diatribe. And again, eBay, it's all about communication. Anything you do in life can be improved by one thing, and that's communication, whether it's relationships, whether it's your sourcing, your networking. If you communicate good, you're going to get better contacts. If eBay, you're running a platform and you just communicate better with your sellers, you're probably going to get better sellers that have an understanding of what you want. And, sellers that may not make some mistakes because they're just not sure. Or you're going to be able to have that dialogue so that we don't complain. And I guess this is coming off as a complaint, but we're not complaining all the time when it comes to just the things that you do. And maybe we wouldn't mind as much of the changes that you're making. We may be on board with some of the changes if we understood why and how that affects us as sellers. And I guess without sellers, eBay, you don't have a platform. So I think at some point you need to understand that. And I think your business would be a lot better for it. If I'm wrong, let me know. Put it down below. Let's see who we have here today. Jimmy D says, John, where are you on turning international sales back on your main store? What is your take on the bugs being fixed? Well, I mean, I'm hopeful that the bugs are going to be fixed. Again, no communication. Even if eBay has fixed the bugs, they haven't come out to tell us. Now, it may be one of those things where they only talk to us when things are going well. When things aren't going well, they're not saying anything. So I don't know. I haven't heard of any bugs being fixed. Hopefully, you guys have. As far as um, turning on my international sales, I'm not going to do it. I tried it on my secondary store and it didn't help any. I don't think I've sold an international item, even with EIS, international shipping program, turned off. I have international shipping that I would do through Pirate Ship. I haven't had but one order in the last like 3 months international. So it's not that big of a, at least from what I've seen, a big enough piece of the pie for me to really want to mess with it right now. I just don't see the benefit. Minnie Duke says, finally catching a live in a long time, hopefully. Well, thank you for being here. Appreciate that. We have Jovial Juggler says, hey, FA fam, happy tug of war day. Although every day seems like a tug of war with eBay. It is, and it shouldn't feel that way. It's almost like, here I go, the king of bad analogies. I used to kind of crack up at other channels for analogies being kind of crappy, but here I go with mine. It's almost like we're that guy who lives in the garage, right? We're renting out the garage and we want to use the bathroom. They're kind of looking at us sideways. I mean, it's a bad analogy. I don't know. I'm just making it up as I go, but it's just this way that eBay treats us is like we're not worth the time, and we should be worth the time. We are the heart and soul. I mean, some could argue the buyers are, but we're the heart and soul of their business. Again, you could take certain things away. You could take promoted listings away and eBay would still have a business. You can take offsite ads and eBay would still have a business. You can take a lot of these features away that eBay focuses on. You could take away all the featured categories and eBay would still have a business. But you can't take the sellers away. You would not have a business unless eBay is getting into the business of actually selling products themselves, which they're not. Gail says, hello all. Hope all had a successful weekend in sales. Somewhat, but I'm really itching to get a lot of these items, a lot of these clubs, get them up. I have just a lot of merchandise right now, a lot of shoes, picked up a lot of stuff that he was pretty much giving away. And it's like, well, don't give it away. I'll take it. So I ended up leaving the yard sale with probably about just as much as I went with. And whatever I didn't sell, they're in tubs at his house because I guess he wants to have one on Saturday. And we'll do it again. He's found more things in his house that he wants to get rid of. So I'll be there to help him with that. Gail says, has been a good 2 months for me in the pinball niche. Okay. And Josh claims to be first, but we know that's not the case. Andy Reynos in the house from Indiana. Thanks for being here, Andy. We have Patricia. Thanks for being here, Patricia. Paul Rose. Hi, John and FAE gang. And Guide Guru says, what's up, Flippin' Fam? Got my bowl of jambalaya and sitting in front of my TV ready for another amazing live. That sounds pretty good, actually. Jerry Johnson says, hi, everyone. I had 3 sales yesterday. Now, I don't know. I think I had quite a few yesterday. I had maybe 4 Friday and Saturday combined. But see, 3 might be great for you. Some people might say it's an average day. It's all perspective, you know. Biff Boffo says, finished my best week of the year so far, 20% above my weekly average. My last 90 days is also running almost 20% above the previous 90 days. Waiting for the doom. Last year was like this. Well, I hope that April doesn't turn into doom for people. I know that leaves us like what, a month and a half away from that date. But it generally is when eBay, I believe it's when they enact their spring seller update, isn't it? Beginning of April. So a lot of people point to that date last year as being a doom day. And let's hope that's not the case. I didn't have that problem, but I know a lot of people like Josh cite that day as a really big turnaround in their business last year. Trombley's Treasuries. Talking to my mail carrier today, and she showed me that someone was mailing a potato. The label is right on the potato. She said, if you can put a label on it, it ships. I would never have believed it. Well, prior to receiving that spare tire in the mail, and all they did was tape the label to the tire, and they taped it around the tire or the wheel so that it wouldn't come off. I believe it. And they'll let you use the same label over and over again, if you wanted to. We have Sandra in the house. Thanks for being here, Sandra. Christine Anderson says, oh, yeah, hey, hi from Wisconsin. Thanks for being here, Christine. Joy says, hello, all. Thanks for being here, Joy. Keena, how you doing, Keena? Keena's with us. Meg's with us. Thanks for being here, Meg. And then Paul says, had a reasonable Saturday, so eBay has put me on the timeout naughty step since one sale yesterday, nothing today. And I don't know what it is. I think I was talking to Josh today, Josh Galt, and he was saying that his sales were kind of slow over the weekend. I do know that Primo was talking about a slow Friday, Saturday, and a rebound on Sunday. And that's kind of what happened with me, and with today being pretty good. Tony Resales says, hi, everyone. Thanks for being here, Tony. And we have Bearded PokeTuber says, live streaming solo ain't easy. Happy Monday, everyone. eBay's been on fire this weekend, keeping it going today. It ain't easy, I tell you, to do the live stream. Just the fact that Jenna could be here and maybe put her 2 cents in about a certain topic gives me a minute to just think about, okay, what I want to say, maybe take a drink of my little meal, water, and just kind of get on to the next topic. But you got to flow with these live streams. If you're by yourself, it's real easy to get stuck without a topic. So I try to keep it going, and I try to include you guys in the conversation to keep it fresh. If I didn't have you guys here with me in the chat, there's no way I can go more than 15 or 20 minutes without your interaction. So I appreciate that. Dixon Street Treasure says, hello, happy to see you. Ready for Jenna to be home? Yeah, I am. I miss her. She's having a good time. So she went to they all went to like a family party on Saturday, and there was a wedding yesterday evening. So they've been very busy, and her friends and family are staying in this huge Airbnb right on the river. So there's the Guadalupe River, whatever, in Texas runs right by, right out in the backyard there. And they can sit on the deck of the river if they want to. So they're having a good time, and there's nothing really going on here. I'm just passing time, between working and keeping myself busy. So there was no reason to, harass her, and just let her have her time away. And because she's going to be holding the fort down when I go. I have a couple trips I'm taking here pretty soon for golf and stuff. So she'll be here, and hopefully I can talk her into doing the live while I'm gone. So if she's watching, we're recruiting you for that. Maya says, hello all. I had an awesome weekend of sales and on Poshmark, but can't seem to make good sales anywhere else. They are steadily rolling in on Posh, though I guess I can't complain. Posh has been kind of steady, a sale here, a sale there. But we really don't have, we have 160 items on that other store, and maybe 50 or 60 are clothing or shoes related type of thing. Ping G says, hi, John, in the chat. Thanks for being here, Ping. Tommy says, reselling isn't for everyone. Piggly Wiggly, there's your way out, guys. If you're having a tough time with reselling, if you have a Piggly Wiggly in your area, they will hire you on the spot. Guy Guru says, when the cat's away, the dog will play. Yeah, went and played golf yesterday morning. Played well, scored like crap, had a good time. Stopped and had lunch, and came back and got to work. Kind of the cycle. And I may, with one more night before Jenna's coming back tomorrow evening, so I may just go by and play little craps at the casino. I'm up anyway, so might as well. Devon says, hello. Thanks for being here, Devon. Mark Sudick says, hi all. Everyone to thank John and Jenna for the live. Hit that like button and you will get a sale as a bonus. So please hit it now. Thank you. Yeah, we have the thing that we say, if you hit the like button within the next 24 hours, I don't know how or why it works, but you'll end up with a sale. A magical sale will appear in your account. And if it doesn't happen, all the money you spent to hit that like button, I will refund you in full. Richard says, question, buyer wants me to send their low-cost item to a different address after they've already paid. What would you do? To me, if it's a low-cost item, I'd say anything under 30 bucks. It's one of those things where they've already communicated that information through the messenger system. And I would go ahead and do it. Go ahead and just allow them to change the address if they've communicated that to you in the messages. Now, a higher ticket item, I wouldn't be so worried about eBay not having your back, because eBay reps have said, hey, we've done this before. It's something that has been happened. I've done it without an issue, but it's more about chargebacks. So buyer orders a $200 item from you, and while eBay may have your back and cover you, they can go to the credit card company and said they never received it. And even though you can make the case that, well, the buyer asked me for it, it wasn't part of the transaction, and you're not covered. You're at the will of the credit card company or the mercy of the credit card company, and you may not be covered on that. So I'd say my guideline is around 30 bucks before I say, hey, go back in and we'll cancel the transaction and just have you redo it. Devon says, please hit the like button. Yes, thank you. I appreciate that. Paul's out of luck. They don't have a Piggly Wiggly in the UK. Let's see. Backyard Mowing says Polo. Yeah, it says Italia on the front. And it has the Italian, the red, green, and white colors, I believe. And that one is a really good piece. He had some, I was able to get a Kawasaki. It's a brand new with tags. He just bought it, never wore it. Bought it years ago. And it has like the Monster logo on it. It's a polo shirt. And I believe it has VR from one of the riders. If anybody knows motocross, who VR, Victor Rossi or something like that. It was one of his shirts. Joe Samard says, happy President's Day all. Yes. So if you're waiting for your carrier to come to the door, they ain't coming, not till tomorrow, which is a good thing. Worked out to where we're doing this live stream, and I'm really don't want to have dead air while I'm giving my packages from the weekend to the carrier. I did leave my boxes out for FedEx right in front of the front door. The way our house is set up, it's like a little sidewalk way to the front door is kind of on the side, really. And it doesn't have good exposure to the street. So people can't say, oh, there's boxes, let me go be a porch pirate and steal them. So I'm not really worried about those. So if I believe FedEx, of course, they're open today. I'm not sure if they're doing pickups on the holiday, but just in case, they can come and pick them up and not ring the doorbell today, so I don't have to be harassed. And if they don't come, I'll just bring the boxes in, and we'll do it again tomorrow, because eBay is not expecting you to have your items shipped until tomorrow. We have Christine Anderson says, it looks like I'm sticking to reselling. I was turned down by the University of Wisconsin-Madison Center for Dairy Research as a descriptive sensory panelist, aka cheese taster. Oh, gee. Well, that sounds like a fun thing, a cheese taster. But unfortunately, I believe things happen for a reason. So maybe you're going to be able to make reselling work for you. Just work hard at it. No matter what you do in life, work hard at it, focus on it, and you can do whatever you want. I really strongly believe that. And that's why a lot of times I'll talk about how, I'm not doing well, or someone's not doing well at reselling. And the number one thing I look at first is, what have they done directly to affect their business? Are they putting in the work? If you're putting in the work sometimes, but not all the time, don't expect consistent results. So put in the work and you can make it work. I'm confident about that. Dollar Tree cat turd. Jenna is the cat's meow. Miss her. I think we all do. But she will be here on Friday, I promise. Jeanette says, I think the eBay 20% coupon helps sales this weekend. 20% is a good number. I stick to 10% roughly because I'm already doing a 10% markdown. So that's 20% off the top of any pricing that I do. So when I'm making a listing, I'm looking at the 90-day solds. What sold in the last 90 days? And I'm looking at a number of different ones, just trying to get a feel for kind of what the average is, right? And then I'm in my mind, based on the condition, I'm kind of comparing it to what sold. Okay, is my item closer to this condition or is it like this other one? And I'm trying to fit it to where I'm listing it right around that price, knowing that my 10 and 20, my 10 and percent markdown and 10% coupon are going to kick in and knock me down lower than that, and that puts it, I think, at a pretty good price point. And then, of course, lately I haven't been turning offers on. I figure if an item's been sitting there at the price that I put over a couple weeks, then I can go in and add the best offer feature. I just was getting tired of listing an item and knowing it had good demand and almost right away getting offers. And I feel like the item is at a good price point. It's going to sell in the next few days. And still it falls in line with my kind of my mindset where I want to churn the item. So as long as I'm making good profit, but I think there's that line where it's okay to wait a few days to maximize that profit versus being willing to take a lot lower price. Brenda says, happy Monday, everyone. Thanks for being here, Brenda. Paul Rose says, if you change the address after the sale, eBay will not cover you. You can offer to cancel and let them reorder after they change the address, or just risk it if you like. I've never encountered a situation where eBay, had a situation where they weren't willing to cover me on that. I have had multiple conversations with eBay stating that as long as that information's in the communication initiated by the buyer, then they will have your back. But again, the credit card companies certainly won't. The credit card company doesn't care what side arrangements you may have made with the buyer. They're looking at the transaction, and if it's not delivered to that address, then you're putting yourself in a position to be out holding the bag. We have Ken here. Thanks for being here. Always good to see you. Got Tommy says, can you imagine the phone calls they would get if they let us know about everything above a 3rd grade reading level? What does this mean? That mean blah, blah, blah. Well, but how many phone calls are they getting from people who are, how many times are people at least trying to make contact? Because some people can't even make phone calls, get a hold of eBay anymore. But the things that, like, how do I send my offers now? I don't want to send all my offers in bulk. Where's the button? I mean, someone like Ken had to come on here Friday and say, hey, just hit cancel. Well, I mean, if you're not pushing all the buttons to figure out what's up, you're going to be like, I just want to run my business the way I know how to run my business. And I'm sure those folks are going to be reaching out because it's not clear anymore. And if eBay would just provide clarity, they would do a decent job, I guess, with the spring seller updates. But it seems like they're updating things just as they go. It's no longer a collection of updates. Okay, we're doing all these things behind the scenes, and then in the spring we're going to launch a new app with these features, with this, that. We're going to start doing this differently. No, they're just doing it all, and it just kind of makes me wonder, well, what did you leave for the spring seller update? Is one even coming? I think by now they would have maybe announced something, but I haven't heard that. So they're even changing the way they interact with us, because as lacking as it was once better than it is now. Callie Debs says, hello, John and Flippin' Fam. Thanks for being here, Callie Debs. Hope you're doing great. Hope you and the fam are okay. Biff Boffo says, I know a lot of people don't care about the listing quality report, but the button has been gone for a week. Before that, the document hasn't been updated since January 12th. And that's another thing. I mean, they remove things that people, maybe 90% of the sellers never looked at it, but the other 5 to 10% might rely on it. It might have made their lives a little bit easier, and not having that report is just creating more work or more uncertainty for them than when they had it. Let's see. The Gangland Legacy says, Jesus, Tommy, can eBay ever do wrong in your eyes? You defend them over literally everything. They literally just abandoned the monthly video questions as well. They value us 0%. Well, let me just say this. I think that you have people that are doing really, really well on eBay, despite all these things that affect the other 80 to 90%. So when things are going well within your business, these things don't stick out so much. If things are just smooth sailing, you notice them, right? But they don't bother you as much because things are still fine. The bottom line is, as long as you have that money coming in every week being deposited in your bank account, everything else is just how to get from no money to that money, right? And you navigate everything in between. And for some of us, we have to navigate things a lot harder, and a lot more frequently than people like, say, Tommy, who are just got it going for them and making it work. So I can understand how for some people who are not getting the money, so we started with zero, we're trying to get X amount of dollars in our bank every week or daily, however you have your deposits, and it ain't happening at the frequency that you're used to seeing. That's the frustration that allows you to really notice all the other things that are going on around you. And then Tommy says, eBay is far not perfect, but they can't make people buy no matter how much Kool-Aid people drink. Crap items are crap items. And I've always said that. You can do special things with crap items. You can bundle them. You can drop the price to a really crazy low price in hopes that you're providing that kind of value for someone who might, okay, well, I wasn't planning on buying crap item A, but because crap item A is a lot cheaper than I normally see it for, I might be willing to pick it up. I can afford it. So that's, whereas if you have Tommy's item B, which he sells pretty good stuff, like Brett, Mad Hatter's Boutique, he sells really good quality jerseys and hats. We're talking Mitchell and Ness. So it's not that hard. People are looking for that specific brand and that specific quality and are willing to pay for that. So it's not so hard for those sellers because they have the goods. And I don't claim to have really great stuff. I feel like I'm kind of in between. There's days I find really good stuff. There's things I find kind of borderline stuff. And depending on how much stuff I have to list, I'll pick it up or not. Because I don't want to be a day where I'm not able to list anything because I just don't have anything to sell. Gangland says the guy that literally sells nothing special but old Hokas and other tanking running shoes, but people want those things. I mean, look, old Hokas are cheaper than new ones. And when people don't have money, but they need a new pair of shoes, then they want to use the same ones that they had last year. That's an option that's more viable. And I've always thought that once the economy sort of started hitting in a bad way, that people would start coming to eBay to get the used things rather than paying full price for the new. Devon Shorts with us with some popcorn. Dollar Tree cat turd. If John were able to be made into an you're going to give me some big words, aren't you? Anthropomorphized cartoon character. You didn't have to use that word, by the way. He'd be an American eagle. This world needs a talking eagle. Well, thank you. I'd be the first one, though. Paul Rose says they don't tell us anything like getting the app send offers to work. Just had to tinker and find a fix. Why not just put it out in the standard message? Wouldn't take but a moment. They found that it was important to tell us why verified purchase was necessary to slap on feedback, when anyone who knows anything about eBay knows that that's the only way you can leave feedback. Let's get past the sidebar. Everyone's getting a tape measure out. We don't want that. Ken says, I feel like I'm watching one of them illegal male chicken fights. Yeah, we don't want that. I mean, at the end of the day, look, we all have different ideas. And sometimes the problems that we're experiencing affect us all differently. Some don't affect certain sellers as much as it affects other sellers. And just the way it is. Maya says, every eBay search is such a hot mess. No one wants to steal their trade secrets. I mean, really? I mean, it's not like we're all secret agents for Bonanza trying to figure it out for them. We're just trying to how is that a negative thing? Because it has to be a negative thing in eBay's mind. Here we are, a bunch of sellers eager to learn more about their product, eBay's product. And eBay is like, no, you can't. It's the original recipe. It's like KFC. You can't have, you like the chicken, but we're not going to tell you what's in it, kind of thing. And we're not going to go home like we're trying to go home and cook it instead of going back to KFC. We just want to be able to know what to do with eBay. Bad analogy again. Bad analogy number 2, I know, but it's all you're going to get from me. Callie Deb says eBay doesn't care about us, and we are spinning our wheels if we think they ever will. Flip It Good says, hey, everyone. Thanks for being here. Maya says, to be honest, the constant changes on the app is more confusing for buyers. If anything, they aren't on the platform constantly trying to figure stuff out. I mean, does eBay even care about the buying experience? Because, you can just chalk that up as another example of where eBay doesn't really put the buying experience. They don't make it a priority to improve upon the buying experience. Why in the world would you ever show the same item they just purchased to the buyer just purchased? Why would you show that at a lower price point right underneath where they bought the item at the checkout page? How does that not create customer confusion? And now the customer is reaching out to the seller who doesn't want to cooperate or, doesn't want to cancel the transaction. Buyer's trying to save $10 and you're frustrating the buyer. Now you're telling them to go to the app. Things have changed for the buyer. Categories changed for the buyer. Can't find items for the buyer when they're looking on a search. So it's like, how do you build a business around that? Simplify 1918 says sales slow but steady and some in total value this month as last month, working the higher valued items first. Yep. The higher ASP items will make up for a lack of individual sales. And I noticed last year, my ASP went up, my revenue went up, my sales volume went down. Devon says, John, I agree. They treat sellers looks like a Hershey's Kiss. We got Bearded Picker. Hey, how you doing there, Scott? Thanks for being here. Kelly, if you've been on this app for any amount of time, you'll know that we go through changes constantly. It is what it is. Make the most of it and move on. And I don't mind the changes. The issue I have is not with the changes. I know that eBay is going to change every year. We're going to have, historically, we've had a spring seller update. We've had a fall seller update. Fall winter / seller update. And I'm fine with that. But communicate these changes with us. What does it mean? What does it mean when you put bulk offers, but you can't send individuals unless you hit the cancel button? Who knew that? Someone named Ken that stumbled upon it, found out and shared it with us. It's the communication. It's not the changes that I have a problem with. Let's see. The Crazy Card says, my Hoka can beat up your Hoka. Khaled A says, first week of February was great for me. 250% comparing to last year, but died down after that. Yeah, February was a good month for me, and it kept going until I think September, and it kind of faded off a little bit. We made it through the rest of the year, but we were down the end of last year by about 25%. But February was a great year, a great month for us. Beers says every new models come out and the older ones decline in value. And that's the same with anything, whether it's shoes or electronics, you name it. Let's see. Roman, Putin told me I'm next after Navalny. Jeez. Let's hope not. Ping G says spring check-in is March 7th, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Pacific time. Now, according to Ina Steiner, however, she says that they didn't show up to February's. Now, maybe that was the monthly chat. So maybe that's a little bit different. I do know that eBay has historically had the monthly check-ins. So that's a little bit different. Like your mini eBay Open 1 hour-ish presentation. So maybe they're going to still have that. But what do you ever learn in those? Usually it's we're going to have a presentation from someone in this department talking about this, and then we're going to have a featured seller that we're going to tell you all about their success story. And then they offer to take questions. And then whenever you ask them a real question, they defer it to, well, we'll have to ask someone in that department, and they never get back to you. So what do you really gain out of that other than losing an hour that month? Callie Deb says, I'm starting to get non-payers again. That had been fixed for a while, but it's back now. And we had one the other day where they said, I'm not able to pay. And they waited 3 days. They finally paid. And then they had the nerve to put in the notes of the shipping notes to, I need this right away. Please ship it out today. What? They paid at 2:00 in the afternoon. No, I'm not shipping it out today. It's going out tomorrow. People, I tell you. Mini Duke. Been having constant sales, but small ticket items. Yeah, I've had a few of those small ticket items. Andy says, everyone hit the like button for your money back guarantee sale. Yes, hit that like button. We have over 200 people in the chat, or in the watching the live. So please hit that like button. I would certainly appreciate it. Brenda Smith says, you're right, John. Perspective is everything. As a part-time seller, 5 sales a week is average for me. 135 to 150 items listed. Now, right. So someone could be like, wow, my best days are when I have 5 sales. And others would be like, 5 sales, I might have to look for a job kind of thing. So it's all perspective. Tommy, I'm not angry at the world because I list free junk. I get we all make decisions and should hold ourselves accountable instead of curling up in the fetal position and crying. Yeah, I can't really comment more on that. I know that, look, I got a bunch of stuff for free and I'm happy to get it, and I'm going to get that stuff sold. I mean, he probably gave me, and I know you're not talking about me, but just to kind of piggyback off of free stuff, that topic, at least $500 to $600 resale value in the free stuff that he gave me. So pretty good guy. Guy's a heart of gold. He's like, look, I don't care. Here, just take it. He could have put it out in his yard sale, but he was nice enough to have it aside for me. But I got to tell you, the guy talks a lot. He loves to talk. So he'd get these people at his yard sale, and he's like, yeah, I got this in the house. I haven't brought it out yet. Why don't you come on inside? And I'm like, Mike, I don't know how much you want for the stuff out here. He's like, don't worry, I'll be back. 10 minutes later, people, like 3 or 4 people asking me, well, how much for this? Look, I don't know. I don't want it. I don't want the guy to get mad at me because his prices were high as it is. He was one of those guys that are like, yeah, it sells for like $30. It's like, yeah, this is a yard sale, Mike. I had to kind of tell him that. And he kept telling people, yeah, I only used it once, or it's brand new. No, that motorcycle helmet was manufactured in 2005. It's not brand new. I mean, so it just, good guy, just very, very, very weird day. Let me just put it that way. Let's see who we have. Marcy Robinson says, it would be interesting if we pin sellers when good, we might find certain servers online. Just thought, happy to find you live. Love your ideas. Thank you. Well, thank you, Marcy. I appreciate that. I don't know about that whole server thing. No one's been able to explain it to me yet, that in a way that this guy can understand it. Why would one jump from server to server? Why not stay on the same server? What's wrong with the servers? Why do they always seem to break down? I understand maintenance in the middle of the night, sort of like road work in the middle of the night. But it's like, why one day is it down for me just because I had bad sales, and another day, wow, I must have been on 2 servers because I had double the sales. I don't know. Someone explain it to me. Bell Resell says, happy Monday, flippers. Thanks for being here. Nice to see you. Let's see. Trying to get some new folks. We have Lissa. Thanks for being here, Lissa. Roman says, Putin told me that my reselling cover-up won't work anymore. Sniper is on the way. Anyone check out Roman's channel, you'll understand he is from that area, I think Kazakhstan, which is next to Russia, and he has that heavy Russian-based, Russianish accent, and that way you'll kind of understand some of his sidebar jokes. Let's see. GT's in the house. Says hello all. Thanks for being here, GT. Shane says, I know I'm going to cry myself to sleep tonight. I don't know why you're crying yourself to sleep. I'm trying to weed through the sidebar comments. I don't mind you guys putting the sidebar comments, but it does throw me off my game a little bit, but I'm good with that. Paul says, I think it can be up to 6 months, but I'm not positive. Again, I don't know what that means. And Guy Grew says, damn, I just realized I didn't have to ship today after shipping. And, that happened to me last night. But, there's something about not putting it off until the last minute. So it's shipped. Your buyer sees a tracking number. They're not going to, not knowing it's President's Day, they're not going to reach out to you going, hey, are you ever going to ship this thing? It's done. You don't have to worry about it. The Crazy Card says, the Russian boogeyman lives under my bed. That must be frightening. Spam Banshee says, aloha, John and FAE family. Hello to Spam and hello to Primo if you're listening as well. Venom says, anyone else hate and despise lowballers? Yeah, me too. It's just lowballers that lowball for the sake of lowballing. It is a bothersome thing. Lowballers that will try to get a good deal and there are very few of these, that then will be reasonable and will come up towards your price. I'm okay with those people. Who can blame? See, low ballers are created by sellers. I'll just tell you guys this right now. This is something that I was thinking about. Us sellers, we despise low ballers. We despise certain things that go on eBay. But if we realize that a lot of these things that we see on eBay are created by sellers, low ballers are created by sellers. Why do I say that? Because a low baller has had to have been successful at some point to continue the practice of lowballing. They're going to continue to lowball as long as there's someone that says, I've got this $50 item. They get a $5 offer and they go accept. Well, why wouldn't the lowballer keep doing that? But if we all and this will never happen, but if we all understood that we're in this thing to make money and we don't settle for just let's get rid of it for the sake of making a sale that makes you no profit, which is the only reason why we're here, then low ballers would be few and far between. Yeah, there'd still be people reaching out to try to get a deal, but they wouldn't be as prevalent as they are now. I really think sellers are responsible for the people that reach out after they buy your item. Nothing's wrong with the item. They're going to make up something's wrong with the item in hopes that you're going to give them a partial refund. Those buyers were created by sellers who didn't have enough gumption to say no. Send it back if you're not happy with the item. And the only time I think any of us should be doing a partial refund, by the way, is if you can see that, guess what, I screwed up. And case in point, I screwed up the other day. I had a one of those cargo nets, not even a net. It's one of those retractable cargo things that go on your back of your Prius. And the title said 2009 to 2016 Prius. And I had recently sold one for an older model, a newer model, 2017 to 2020 Prius. And I piggybacked off that listing, but failed to change the title that I had in the item description that said the 2017 year. So they got it, said this thing don't even fit, not even close. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? The title says the year of your, because they said they had a 2016 or whatever. So the title says that, they said they had a 2017. I said the title shows it's only good for 2009 to 2016. And they said, well, you put 2017 in your listing. So I went and looked at it, and it's a $20-something item. Was it worth me spending another $15 to unravel this whole error that I made? So I said, you know what? My bad. I'm sorry. I'm going to just go ahead and give you a full refund. But that should be the only time that we do something like that. Go above and beyond for the buyer is when we screwed up, because by doing that, instead of making them return it and go through all the hoops, I think it was a good good thing for me to do to avoid maybe a negative, hard feelings. Again, that's your buyer next time. So I gave them a good experience so that they can come back and buy your item next time. Venom says, like, I'm not desperate. I'm not money hungry. I don't do this full time. I'm okay with my items sitting for weeks. Lowball offers are insane. Like, dude, no, I'm not selling you my items 50% off. Right. And unfortunately, though, Venom, there's people that are so desperate to get the sales. And some people even feel like, well, I haven't received a sale in days. If I take this lowball offer, maybe it'll trip something within the algorithm and turn the water faucet on, and I'll start getting sales. Well, it don't work that way, unfortunately. Chatterbrains, going through a craft box from Goodwill, and I just found human teeth with gold caps. That's really weird. Right? Yeah, I don't think you're allowed to sell at any level any kind of biological item. Maybe I'm wrong with that. No one designs the Roman for some odd reason. I believe you about Delaware. And Mike Gertis says, hello, my sales May weekend. I can't even speak. May sales weekend for me. Good news. I made 4 extra sales on Mercari. It's definitely worth the 1 minute to cross list one item from my eBay listings. Yeah, cross listing, it does take a few extra minutes, but it puts more people who, for whatever reason, don't want to sell on eBay. I think you all have ideas as to why they don't want to buy on eBay, that is, and gives you more eyes to see your items. So I think it's certainly a great way to expand your business and not just be stuck on eBay Island. Venom says, especially because I sell competitively. I just has someone offer me $8 below my item price, and there's only one other listing in eBay, and I'm $10 below theirs. Some people out there. Yep, some cheap people out there. Let's see, what do we got here? Thomas says, Delaware is the safest state on the planet. No one wants to come here. I've been there once. I wasn't impressed. Sadistic says, hey, John in chat. Thanks for being here. And Tommy says, my app is still changing throughout the day. Curious as to the changes you're seeing. I mean, I'm doing sort of between the PC and the app. You guys know that I'll build my item description on the PC, maybe piggyback off of a listing to sell similar, add the description, go into my app, and then add the photos and then the price and then the weight of the item and launch it. But I'm not seeing a lot of that right now. Kent, reselling isn't for everyone and it's not mandatory. Yeah, you can do other things. Certainly, I think some people aren't cut out for reselling. I think some people really need to have that boss down their neck, over them saying, hey, you need to get on this. I need a report by tomorrow. I need you to do these 3 things before you leave. For me, been there, done that. Want no part of it. It's just not the kind of stress that I want. We got Larry Todd says, go presidents. I kind of liked Reagan. And you remember Reagan well. Tommy says, there is some info in the App Store on the newest update always, but agreed, never do they cover it all. But they need to cover it all. I mean, hiding it in the App Store, I mean, I don't even know the last time when I downloaded an app, I really took the time to read whatever information or the latest version of that app was just by looking at the App Store information. Paul says the app and the site are constantly changing. Wish they just settle on a format and stick with it for a while. I mean, to me, it would make sense to say, okay, well, they're not saying anything, but to me, it would make sense for them to just make all the changes and then once or twice a year, launch them, and say, here's what we're doing. Here are the changes that are coming. Maybe that's happening too. I don't know. But I thought last year, by mid-February, they actually had some notification that they were going to be doing a seller update. So who knows what's happening. Common sense goes a long way. I agree with that. Let's see. Tommy says, you'll never hear me say eBay is perfect, but who is making more on Mercari, Poshmark, Grail, Depop than they are on eBay with identical items? None. No one. I can tell you that that's a lot of work to put in. You know, if you have the merchandise, maybe focusing on, instead of spreading yourself thin amongst 8 to 10 different sites, maybe just focus on three that the most prevalent sites for the type of items you're selling. So if you're like Tommy selling shoes, which sites are going to be a better return for my effort? eBay is already established. Let's cross post to Poshmark and then figure out what the other site is that's going to give you the best return. No One Design says, here's a fun game I was playing with eBay yesterday. Went on the PC, loaded up dashboard, and found 1,410 offers available to send. I was like, yay, then refreshed and now 0. And I was like, yay. I think many of us would love to see 10 offers available to send. So if you have that many, that's really good. Aunt White says, been a long time since I came to live. Glad to see you're still at it. I've been killing it with storage auctions. Yes, a lot of people like storage auctions. I've watched too many people get burned with staged storage units where whoever is in charge of, maybe the manager of the storage unit or the storage facility, sets up the boxes and to look really nice, but they've already been gone through. That's not anything I want. I don't want to deal with surprises anymore. I want to be able to know what I'm getting. That's why if liquidation pallets ever become, in my eyes, worth the buy again, it would be only manifested for me unless I can actually see the pallet, at least the majority of the contents from the outside. Simple Beautiful, could this be seasonal right now, the slow eBay sales? I don't think so. Now, for me, I'm not really experiencing slow sales. If I had to guess, compared to last year, maybe down 10 to 15%, which still isn't bad for me, but others are having much less success on the site. And I don't know if that's because it's category specific. There's just so many intangibles. It's hard for me to compare myself and how I'm doing to someone else because all of us do our businesses differently. We might even sell the same things, but we source differently. We have different, some source at a higher price point. Like I'll go as high as $5 for this item. Some will go as high as 10. Those people have less opportunities to do the things that I can do. It's just so many things. And that's why it's frustrating for viewers to say, well, how come you're doing this, but I can't? Because you can never fully replicate what someone else is doing, even if they're selling the same things. Guy Guru says, I love how John is reading this argument. He is doing it like a pro, though. Well, I stopped reading it like a pro because I don't want to go there. Look, I think both sides of the argument in chat, and those of you who don't know what I'm talking about because you're watching it after the fact, I guess you'll just have to check out the chat replay, which should be available like after the first hour after this thing launches. And both have good points, and both have points that pertain to their situation. And I think sometimes we tend to see things differently from a different perspective based on our life experience. What have we gone through? What have we gone through the last few years? Has it been smooth sailing, or has it been a rough and choppy ride selling on eBay? And I think those two different sellers with those two different perspectives are going to be on two different sides of the equation. And really, let's be honest, eBay is, for a good chunk of us, a constant source of revenue, whether it's part-time or full-time. And I think sometimes we get so frustrated with the platform that we forget about that. We forget to understand that if you're still making sales, well, you're getting money, you're making money, maybe not as much as you'd want to. But I'm thankful that eBay as a platform is there. What are the alternatives to really make the same kind of money that I'm making? If I erased eBay from the equation and just relied on Mercari, Poshmark, Bonanza, let's don't go there, I would be in trouble. And I think many other sellers would have to go and look for jobs. I know that Josh would not be happy. He relies a lot on eBay. So I'm grateful for eBay for that reason. It's being grateful, but disappointed at the same time, if that makes sense. Roman says, Ken, eBay likes to tease to the point that you will explode really bad. Yeah, because there's so much potential, I think, in eBay. And I understand them. They're wanting to really have these magical innovations that they've talked about. And I'm sure that Jamie Iannone is probably kicking himself for ever saying that, magical innovations. But they said it, not us. And I would just really prefer them to stop being fancy and just get back to the basics and get back to what we all know works on eBay. And it's that potential and the money that we still make that keeps us coming back. Let's see. Kent, imagine if every photo app sent out a how-to manual. It would be a book. Use your head. Well, I'm not saying every photo app. I'm saying in general, this is what we're changing. So you don't have to make it a book, but just put out a little, I mean, look, they found, and I've said this twice already, they found the need to say verified purchase and tell us about it. Have a dedicated little article about it. Why? That's pointless to me. How about things are changing in the app, and here are the few things that are changing in the app so you don't get thrown off. That's what I'm saying. That's what I want. I don't want them to come out with a how-to manual or nothing like that, but at least give us a heads up when you start changing things that affect the way we do business. Biff says, so what is the hack to send offers from the new app interface? The app doesn't even show me that I have eligible offers. I have to go to the Seller Hub to do it. So when you're in your app, and I'll go there right now while I'm talking to you because I'm hopeful that I have some information. So you're in the app, you click on selling, and it'll say send offers to buyers. It'll be right underneath where it says tasks. And you click on that, and it won't even give, I have one offer to send right now. Now, it's not even giving me the place to do it. I have to hit where it says cancel before it says send offer. Now, how ridiculous is that? I don't have but one item. How's that considered bulk? Yeah, it's screwed up. Let's see here. Patricia says, Biff, I don't even have a cancel button on the app. That's interesting because I just had one and I had to get out of that bulk mode by hitting cancel on that. But you have to be in to send. You have to click on send offers. If you don't have offers, then it's not going to come up for you. Tommy says, make sure app is updated. They released an update a few hours ago. But what I've noticed, and I was talking to Josh about this, is that eBay is updating their app in real time. So even if you don't go and update the new or download the newest update from, I think, the Play Store if you have an Android or the Apple Store on the iPhone, it's updating it for you. There's no need to delete it and download it again unless you're having problems. Then if you're having problems, I'd recommend doing that first step. Patricia taps refine, then scroll to send offers, tap that, and voila. See, I'm not seeing that. That's different than what I'm seeing. And Josh had said something to the effect that he believes that we all have different versions of the app. That might be. Let's see. Callie Debs says, if you sell a lot of one type of an item, you start gaining steam in that particular category. Hence why some people do better than others, I think. I think, look, there's benefits to selling within a niche. I've said this. The challenge, though, is sourcing for me. If you are able to network to where you can get a constant supply and know and rely on being able to get that in, then that's the way to go. If you can, it's ideal to source within a niche. But for the rest of us, I just can't rely on, 1 week being able to get this type of item and knowing that it's going to be available, in 2 weeks from now. Maya says, I sell way more on Poshmark than eBay, though. Women's clothing is extremely saturated on eBay. Yes, it is. And If you have a good closet on Poshmark, good price points, willing to work with people on prices, you can actually do better on Poshmark than you can on eBay. And you can start higher. I've seen many times where we've sold a pair of shoes for $5 to $10, $15 more than we had it listed on eBay. I guess that's debatable, Kent. It's not saturated at all on Poshmark. I guess if you compare, though, if you're comparing the number of clothing sellers on Poshmark to eBay, there's a lot more on eBay. That might be what she's talking about. Here's one. Silver Hair Stacker. Why doesn't eBay pay a few million, hire Taylor Swift for an ad campaign? Well, that one would be too expensive, even for eBay's blood. But I think Pete, Craigslist Hunter, gave us a good example on the Power Hour podcast. Why don't they maybe take an artist like Billie Eilish? Maybe I'm saying her name wrong, but I don't listen to her music, but the newer generation does, and start making ad campaigns there and start getting the newer generation interested in buying on eBay. I mean, even knowing that eBay exists, that's a good starting point. Maya says, for real though, eBay is way more saturated for women's clothing than an app dedicated to clothing. Yeah, that's very true. I think some people are intimidated by Poshmark as compared to eBay. It's a lot easier to get started on eBay, I think. And Poshmark, it's like, okay, I've started my closet. Now what? I mean, the sharing stuff that you have to do. Many times I've talked to people and talking to them about cross-listing onto Poshmark, and they're like, nah, that just seems too complicated. I'll pass. But, that's probably why you're seeing bigger numbers on eBay than on apps like Poshmark. Lisa K says, Tommy, I never thought I would say I am making more on Mercari than eBay with only 1/4 of the items I have listed on eBay. Just started selling on the site 10 days ago, maybe beginner's luck. No, I think a lot of it has to do with what you're selling. Now, I don't have any idea what you're selling, but if you're up against, let's say, I'm selling a lot of small ticket items up against a lot of drop shippers. Well, you're already dealing with a lot of other sellers that maybe are throwing higher promoted rates at it. Maybe lower demand, lower priced items aren't selling as well there. I can tell you, I've seen for myself the items that weren't selling on eBay. We pushed them over to Mercari, they were selling. And that has to do with competition. You look at how many sellers you're up against and the items you're selling on eBay and go and compare that to Mercari. I promise you, you have fewer competition on or lesser competition on Mercari. Let's see. Venom says, anyone else's eBay app not notifying you when you made sales and buyers paid? I always work fine, but recently I only get emails when they sell, but app is bugging out and not telling me. Blows. I think there's a problem though. I really do. Why is it that we get a sale or we take a best offer and it says we're going to get instant payment and then that payment comes tomorrow? That doesn't make sense to me. I'm thinking that there's some problems. Like, surprise, surprise, right? Why is it that one day we'll get 0 in sales? This happened to me twice last year. And the next day we'll get $1,000 in sales when I only get like days that are 1,000 in sales throughout the year. But 2 of those were after 0 sales days. It almost tells me that the sale may have happened the day before, but we didn't even get notified until the following day just in a big batch. There's no other reason for it. Simple Beautiful. What is the percentage of gross revenue would you spend on inventory yearly? Oh boy. I think in my case, probably looking at 20%, maybe 20% of what I make on the site, I'm buying in inventory. And I think part of that is because I buy at a low price point, and 20% might be kind of high. I'm just giving you a quick answer off the top of my head. Kent would like to see some store reviews live. Then we would really see the issues. Live, I don't know how many people would actually tune in for that. How many people would want to see that? I'd hate to stumble across someone's store that's watching. That would be kind of embarrassing. Guide says, I had a love affair with the hot dog MRE, Four Fingers of Death in the 90s. Man, I love those. I'm not familiar with that at all. I avoided that kind of food, I think, most of my life. Let's see. Tommy, wasn't directed at you, directed at the guy that was emailing me for help but can't accept the truth and comes in here trying to bash me. Well, I don't know. I think we all have disagreements, but I think without getting into the details, I think that I respect both of your perspectives on the argument. And what works for you may not work for them. And just kind of leave it at that. Chris's treasure chest says, hey, Tommy. Kina says, you're not supposed to sell used horseback riding helmets. I would think same for motorcycle helmets. This is exactly what it is. It's these are motorcycle helmets from like 2008. And I found this out. I ended up buying the two helmets, by the way, $25 a piece, because I don't know a damn thing about helmets. But I know Ducati. I know ARAI is a very popular high-end helmet. And so I got on the phone with my son-in-law, who at one time, he was riding in motocross. He did a lot of stuff with bikes, and he actually was at one time sponsored by Ducati. And told me, yeah, that you got to look out for it. So he kind of took me through the process, and I found it after the fact. And I did list the helmet more as a collector's piece than anything else. So we'll see. And of course, I put the dates and the listing and anything like that. So you can sell them, but you have to put the information on there with the dates and all that. In fact, in the item specifics, there's no place, I believe, that I don't recall seeing one where you put the date, the manufacturer date for the helmet. Patricia says, another seller just tried to beat me over the head for $1 countering my offer. $1. And then it's you go and look at their feedback left for others. I'm promising you they're difficult. It may not even be worth the extra buck to cave in at that point. It's probably a block. Christine says, what the hell is a server? Send on my way so they can pour me a glass of wine. Really? Seriously? No, it's all the data. When you create a listing, it's placed somewhere on the eBay servers, right? And the theory is that, and it may not even be a theory, it might be a thing, but I don't know. But the theory is that sellers are assigned to a certain server. So if there's a problem with the server, then there's a problem with our accounts because our items aren't being seen. That's kind of what the theory is. But I've never seen one document from eBay that mentions anything like that. It's more a theory as far as I'm concerned. Goannis says the idea of preferred servers or servers being down is total BS. Yeah, I think until someone can point to me, here's a document that says that eBay does this with servers. Maybe it's by region. Some people think, hey, the servers on the West Coast might have different servers than the East Coast. Where's the validity to that? It might be, but there's nothing anywhere that I've seen in writing from any credible source that tells me that. Kina says, inside of the helmet could already had a hit and destroyed, so it would not protect head anymore. I know that where these came from, he hasn't had. In fact, he rode his Ducati for like 3 or 4 months before it got stolen out of his garage. He never rode a bike again. And he had just bought a new helmet that he was going to use, and he never used it because his bike got stolen. So those are the two helmets that we're talking about. But yeah, definitely got to be careful with that. Chris's treasure chest says, I have been lucky for the past couple months. Well, better than be lucky than good, right? Biff Boffo says, all the servers have all the data. The bad server complaint has no basis in reality. It's some 1998 thinking. That's what I thought. Tina says, take a Xanax, keeps me from crying myself to sleep. Well, we don't want that. Jessica Whitney says, "Hi everyone. I'm listening while I list. I'm sure you meant listening while I list, because we all list while we list. My sales are up 20% compared to last year. I've been working my butt off. Need a break. Yeah. Have something to look forward to. Like for me, maybe a round of golf. Could be, hey, we're gonna go do this on Saturday. So I know I need to just. It gets me more focused. That I want to get like maybe a pile of stuff listed by the time that happens." Let's see. Venom says, "No, John, not in my example. I don't create lowballers. My item was well below the only other item on eBay, and buyers still asked 8 below mine. Can't stand these lowballers who do it rude." But no, I'm not saying that you did. I'm saying collectively, sellers create lowballers. And it's not even most sellers, it's some sellers. But I can't identify the specific sellers. But those of you out there listening, know if you're guilty. You're maybe desperate to make a sale. Here comes an offer, and it's like, well, if I say no, then maybe this will be in my store for another 2 months. So I know that I bought it for 5. They want it for 10, but maybe I should sell it at 10, and it'll kickstart some sales. There's people out there that believe that. It's those people who are creating lowballers, because any behavior that you reinforce like that is going to be continued behavior that, guess what? Now you have to deal with because of these other people. So when I say sellers are creating it, I'm not saying all sellers are creating this problem. I'm saying some sellers are. And those sellers need to stick to their guns, and that will not entirely do away with the problem, but it'll stop a lot of these people from continuing to try to get something for nothing. Haggling's half the fun, according to Todd. I agree. My thing is, it's sort of like that analogy number 3. It's sort of like you're working at a car dealership, and you have someone walking down the sidewalk, and they're looking at the cars as they're walking down the sidewalk. It's sort of like approaching them for a sale, even though they didn't go onto the lot and start looking. They're just kind of lollygagging. It's slim to none that they're going to buy your item or buy your car, but you still approach them anyway. And that's kind of the mindset I have. They come to me with a lowball offer. I could decline, or I can come back and say, hey, if you're serious about this item, this is the lowest I'll go. I'm willing to come down, but this is the best that I can do. And if even 1 out of 10 people say, you know what, that's a good offer, I'll take it, then I've done my job. 90% are probably not even going to get back to you. Many will decline, and many won't even try to come back. Some may come back with, $1 more, those clowns. But I'm doing it for the 10% that might be serious about buying my item. Tribe Time says, isn't it a bit laughable talking about lowballers? Aren't most all seller lowballers when they purchase the product? You win on the buy. Yes. But not to the point where, so if you had a yard sale, someone has an item, they want $20 for it. You look it up. Wow, I can flip this for $100. Are you going to offer $1? That I don't do. Are you going to offer what makes sense? So they want 20. Would you take 15 for this? Would you take 10? I could see this going as far down as 10. I've done that before. But would you offer that person $1, knowing that it's a $100 item resale? I don't know. I mean, I guess if you wanted to as a starting point, but okay, let's continue with that analogy. You offer them $1. Okay, let's just say there's nothing wrong with that. And they came back and said, really? How about 10? And you just walk away. You don't even respond. You just walk away. You go to the next yard sale. You're not even serious. You don't even really want the item. These lowballers aren't serious. Patricia, $30 on 185 lowball offer is stupid, but it's a starting point. Like I said, 90% of those people will not even respond to you, but maybe 10% if you came back and said, look, maybe in your mind, you've had that item in your store for 6 months. 185 is where you were at. You're only into it for $20, and you come back and say, look, if you give me 75, I'll sell it to you. Maybe they'll take it. And maybe it's a good idea to take that money and stop buying that item again that's going to sit on your shelf for 6 months, and find another item or few that you can buy within that $75 that you can flip and make money while that item would have been sitting on your shelf. Amazing G says, lowballer offered 14 for my Nike and I counter offered, not going to waste my gas to the post office. Yeah, it's just a little bit of effort. Doesn't take a lot of time. Counter offer knowing that you'll probably never hear back from them again. Jessica Whitney, hi everyone. I'm listing while I listen. Sales are up 20%. Need a break. I think we read that. Sandman says, I just put a minimum I'll accept on my listings and don't have to deal with the lowballers. That's one way to handle it. But I think what prevents me from using that feature is the 10% that I told you about. There's 10% in my mind that are going to at least be serious about trying to buy it. Tommy does the same thing. His personality can't handle lowballers. I think you're right. I think you'd say some things through the messaging system that might get you kicked off the platform. Venom says, thank you for answering my questions and acknowledging me. You're the best, man. Oh, no, I appreciate you. That's what we're here for. We like to answer questions. Sometimes you guys answer my questions. So any information that I can at least try to help with, that's why we do it. Venom, biological item. I don't think you can sell a finger on eBay, can you? No, I don't think we can. Paul Rose, I was counter and don't auto decline just for the visibility boost, but 50% or less is insulting and frustrating. And I still think there's something to it. You send an offer for an item, like a counter offer, and then hours later, I get full ask. Or I just had someone reach out about an item that's been sitting for a couple months, asking me, when did I buy? It's weird. They said, when did you buy this item? Who the heck who asks that? Okay, it's a pool pump. And so I said, I think I've had it since October. And then 2 hours later, someone else buys it. That's strange. But I think there's a boost whenever you interact like that on the item. And there has been for a while. It used to be that I would send out only 5% offers. So my offers to watchers, 5%. I'd make sure it was the very minimum I could offer just so I can get the boost. Biff says, I have thick skin, so lowballers are forgotten as soon as I hit decline. They come back with more nonsense, they get blocked. Yeah, I think they offer you $1, you come back at 50 because you had it for 75. You say, okay, I can let it go for 50. They come back for 2. And you say, look, I'll come back and say, look, I don't haggle. So, 75 is my best, between fees and all that. I kind of explain my case to have them understand I'm not budging. And if they come back and they go from $2 to $1, they're not serious. They're time to block them. Let's see. Yep, counter, then they ghost. That's what these buyers do, unfortunately. Midwest Picker says, reselling is definitely for the disciplined and dedicated. If you aren't motivated to succeed, you won't. No, and that's why you got to do something about it. If you're feeling demotivated, if you're feeling like, look, I just don't have the drive to get out here. There's days that happens, but when it starts happening in like for a week, that's when I start getting kind of concerned. And what's been the answer, I guess, for me was to talk about it. I was talking to Archie about it, and I said, look, the only difference, there's no difference in the stuff I'm selling or the things that I'm doing to make me feel different. It's just the fact that I was able to get in front of a camera and talk to you guys about it and actually see what you guys had to say about it. And that was enough to kind of refresh me a little bit. Yeah, I've been doing other things, and I've always been doing other things. I've always had things to look forward to. It's not like I've just been sitting in this room and I've burnt myself out that way. But I think sometimes just talking about it, even when things are going well, you can get burnt out. Let's see. Midwest Picker says, I do believe, right or wrong, eBay gives you more visibility the more you list and spend time tweaking your listings. It may not be right, but it is what it is. I think there's something to it. I haven't really done a lot this weekend, but yesterday afternoon I was in their listing, cha-ching, listed a couple more items. A little later, cha-ching. It's like, okay. This morning, same thing, out there listing, had some cha-chings. It's like, feel like I'm playing tug of war, like I'm putting listings up on eBay and eBay's pulling them down through sales, right? And I know eBay has no control over who chooses to buy the items, but it feels like as I'm listing, they're giving my items exposure. It just feels like it. Devon says eBay is my main platform. Same here, but I'm on other, like our secondary store is linked to Mercari and Poshmark. My main store is linked to as Amazon. I have Amazon items and I have Bonanza. Just the way we have it set up. Shane has to run. My live show is starting. Have a good one later. FAE fam. Yes. Well, thanks, Shane. We'll have to see you next time. I agree with this. Put in the work. It'll pay off. It's all about effort, guys. Now, if you're coupling effort with garbage, you know, they say garbage in, garbage out. That might be problematic. But if you have halfway decent stuff and you put in the effort and you're able to source that stuff at a low price point, you can sell that stuff. I'm promising you, because I do it all the time. Paul says, had a couple of offers to send earlier today, then literally all at once had another 32 to send, then just a couple more all day. It's not always down to the seller. There is manipulation going on, but we don't know about it. If we're saying, look, we're making the argument that, look, if I just go out and list, if I go in and start changing my listings and doing end item sell similar and giving the site interaction, that it's baked in the algorithm that we're going to get more exposure. I'm a firm believer of that. So that's manipulation, isn't it? Who knows where this manipulation is coming from? I do think that for some, and I think it's category specific, that some categories are suffering because of that than others. I can't explain why though. Venom says, no, I wouldn't say it's seasonal slowdown. Things are tight right now. People don't have spending money as much as they used to. Tough time to sell. Hopefully economy picks up. Money is tight for, it is. Money is tight for so many. And then people say, well, why is it that when I go out to eat, it's busy, it's packed, I can't get a seat? I can tell you, this generation, seems like every generation that passes, the fewer people really either cook or know how to cook. And I'm not talking about Hamburger Helper. It seems so far, we seem to be so far removed from the grandmothers that cook things from scratch, right? I mean, there might be some out there that do, but I'm not saying there's not. But it to me, it's fewer and far between that people will spend the money to cook at home. In their mind, it's just easier to go out and eat. And if they don't have the money, they'll put it on their credit card. And if they are paying for it, they're paying more out of pocket than they used to, which leaves them less free money to buy your stuff on eBay. Venom says, thankfully, I'm making good sales for my part-time work at it. Love reselling so much. It's fun. If you see success, and I can see people who are down on it because they're not getting success. I think anything that you do that you're somewhat successful at, it's fun. I love golf, but I played like crap. And I can tell you in the moment, hitting my ball on the green and watching it roll into the water, thinking I had a birdie chance, and now I don't. I lost the golf ball. Well, that happened twice, by the way. That's not fun. And it's sort of the same thing. Even if you're decent at something and things aren't going your way, it can be very frustrating. Patricia says, what chat replay? A lot of times when you watch a live stream after the fact, usually takes a good solid hour after that live has been repurposed by YouTube. They put all their commercial breaks and stuff in that they'll put a live chat replay. So as you're watching the live, you can see what's being said on the chat bar. Derek says, everyone does things differently. Right. And the only thing I can say is you watch my channel, you're going to see how I do it. Now, you can try to make it work for you. Chances are It might, but then it may not. Now, does that mean that what I'm doing is invalid? No, it just means it works for me. It didn't work for you. So find something that you can incorporate, whether it's on for my channel or another channel, and try it out. Maybe it'll work and maybe it won't, but you never know unless you try. Biff says, John has become pretty adept at glossing over the sidebars. I have to, because it causes me confusion. And by the way, you hear that noise going off. It's just yet another distraction that I deal with. I do a baseball league that I'm part of too. So that's a minor league draft going on. And yeah. So just to show you what I deal with, I am like a chicken with my head cut off, running 30,000 directions on a daily basis, doing all kinds of things. Venom says, John, help me here. When do you think I should get my own Dymo label printer? I'm part-time and only sell maybe 3 a week. Find it so easy for USPS to just scan my QR code and they print it, saves money. I would say, maybe you ramp it up to maybe a couple a day. Maybe it's worth it. If you have a system that's easy, having them scan a QR code is easy for you, then keep doing what you're doing. But if you find yourself like, okay, I'm going to have to print out and cut out another label again and tape it to my package and it gets kind of old, that's when it's time to get a printer, and you'll never want to go back. I remember when Mercari did not support Dymo and you had to go in and do all these things just to get it to print a very faded version of the label. I said, you know what, forget it. I'm just going to print it out, cut it into the, to the label and tape it to the package. And that doesn't look professional at all. So just got to keep that in mind. Yeah. As Biff says, get a printer once your process is no longer easy. Tommy says, there is no way to do this, but there is a ton of people succeeding. No one way to do this. There's a ton of people succeeding. eBay is not the problem. The problem is people can't accept they source, photo, price, and list the item, not eBay. Yes. And I think, though, Tommy, I uncovered part of the reason why people don't succeed because they forget the first thing you said, source. So they go and buy an item for too much. They take it home. They list. They do everything the way we tell them to do. They photo it. They price it. They have a beautiful listing, but they can't incorporate a markdown sale because they wouldn't have enough money to make a profit. They can't incorporate coupons for the same reason. They can't even accept offers because if they do, they're not going to make much money. So they're doing everything right, except they're not sourcing properly. I believe with all my heart, you can fail at the photo. You can do the 100-yard dash past an iPhone, as long as it looks like an iPhone, and you have it priced halfway decent, that if you source it properly for $5 and you can sell it for $400, you're going to sell that item. Biff says, Magical Innovations is condescending. It makes the CEO sound like a putz, but that's his words. I mean, look, I say things all the time. I hear about it all the time, right? If I said anything crazy like that, Magical Innovations, and I did everything but create really magical innovations, that's going to be brought up. And it should be brought up. So unfortunately, it is condescending, but he said it. Kent says, because the app will change again and again and again, like magic. Patricia said, the rep told me that they found out that more than 50E. I don't know what that means. 50E. What time am I at? 4:30. So I'm only about a half an hour behind. That's not bad. Let's see. Biff says, thanks for the app help, John. Since I've had the new app, it says you have no tasks, even when I do. Jeez. Go figure on that. Trisha said, the rep told me they found out that more than 50% of buyers didn't know that only actual buyers could leave feedback on eBay. So they did the verified purchase label. I guess that's because Amazon, right? Amazon, they allow people to sponsor an item. So a company will contact people and say, will you consider trying out this item if we give it to you for free? Give us your honest feedback, and then go into Amazon and post what you think about the item. And I really think that shouldn't be allowed on any platform, to be honest with you. And then because of that, eBay feels the need, because there's buyer confusion, to do that. And they feel the need to communicate that to us. Isn't that great? But they won't communicate anything else that's important to us. Average Card Collector says, sorry I'm late, was outsourcing. Awesome. Well, thanks for being here. Hopefully you found better than average cards this time. The Tampa Bay Picker says, gluten abend. And I think that's for Josh more than anything else. But I don't know what that means, to be honest. I'm assuming it means hello. Or it's a gluten diet, one of the two. Tommy Bernard says, new, add to and create custom lists to help organize your watched items. Sellers updated orders screen to allow quicker access to item photos. Updated orders screen to allow sorting by buyer and SKU. Yeah, but too bad eBay didn't tell us that, right? That's what I'm saying. Let's see what else we got. Jerry's in the house. Thanks for being here, Jerry. Lepore says, I'm in my early 60s and work with 4 or 5 people in their 20s. None of them have eBay accounts, but they all have Amazon accounts. Yeah. And how do you get those 20-year-olds to think of eBay as an option? I think maybe get a Gen Z star, involved with eBay, but eBay won't advertise. Now, I was told the reason why eBay won't advertise, and this is that conversation that I've had with the gentleman who still is in close contact with the eBay employee, that eBay does not want to advertise a broken product. So to get these people their first time using eBay, it's broken, they have a bad experience with the seller, or something crazy happens, guess what happens? Not only did they not come back, they tell 10 of their other friends who've never heard of eBay not to bother. That's what I was told. Maya says, I'm under 30 and I don't know anyone else my age who shops on eBay. That's sad. And that's not sad that you don't know that. It's just sad that as a society that eBay had such good market share. They even had a song made, Weird Al Yankovic made a song, about eBay. And it's nothing now. It's like crickets. It's like they're accepting their own fate, even though they've said that they're trying to, really put money into the site, AI and all this other thing, but they don't want to advertise. Come on. We have 601 Roliz 3NP. Sorry, I got it wrong. Thank you for all your great information. Well, no, thank you for being here with us. It's the fact that we have a community that not only educates me, I'd like to think you guys teach me more than I've ever taught you guys, but you guys are just awesome. I look forward to it. And when I say that, I'm not saying it because I'm on the live. I'm saying it because I really work my day around this live stream. Rarely will you guys see me cancel a live stream if I'm at home working. Maybe I'm just up to my ears and just things to do. I will make time for this live stream. It's that important to me. And I got an Amazon sale. Does that count? I got an Amazon sale. I sold some roller skates. Those roller skates I bought about 30 pairs of. I have them listed on eBay on a variation listing. I did sell a pair of those this morning on eBay, and I sold another pair on Amazon. So I think the weather's starting to get warm and people are starting to buy roller skates. That's good. Biff said, I would like to see store reviews live. I love a good roast. Oh, yeah. I don't know, though. It's almost like the same as maybe calling someone out. I just hate to do that. I don't like to really roast sellers. I mean, you might be dealing with someone who's relatively new. Maybe they're on eBay Island. They think they're doing the best that they can, and they just have no one to help steer them in the right direction, and to just kind of roast them. I don't know. It just seems kind of wrong. But maybe if enough people want to do it, we can. Let's see. Kent says, I've sold helmets on eBay, 0 issues. I think if you put it up front, people know what they're getting into. Tommy says, if people truly want help, they should be happy to take constructive criticism from you. People that just want to blame eBay will never be able to handle it. I think you're right on that. Look, the information I've always given has never been, and I know there's people here that have been critical of me and things that I've said in the past, both on this channel and in the Power Hour, but the initial advice I've always given has never been one, and people have taken it that way, but it has never been one that has been demeaning somebody or tearing someone down. Sometimes the truth can be that way, and sometimes the message can be given to where it feels, here we go inserting our feelings into business, but it can feel like someone is kind of dumping on you, or it's just the way maybe that the feedback is received, I think, more than the feedback is given. Because look, I have no intention on trying to dog anyone out, for lack of a better term. It's simply about being real. Sometimes I'll do this. I'll say something to Jenna, and she'll give me that look like, what did you just say? And I'm like, just being real, honey, and that's taken the wrong way, but it's not meant that way. It's meant to just be blunt about it. And sometimes being blunt is rude, I guess. Venom says, curious for your opinion here, John, in chat. Do you ever include a message when you send offers? I have a template that I copy, paste, and edit so it's more personalized. Yes, I do. In fact, I have a notepad that I keep in my on Windows 11. It's down here in the tray, I guess you call it, or the taskbar. And it has a lot of different templates in here. And some of it is for some older things I need to get rid of, but this one's a send offer template. So I put, here's your chance to get a great deal on this item. We're offering a steep discount to only a limited number of interested buyers. Once this sells out, the sale is over. Please don't miss out. So the idea is you're creating a sense of urgency when maybe there wasn't any. Like, oh, I didn't realize this offer was just for me. There's other people getting this offer. Well, maybe I need to get off my butt and make a decision here. And so that's kind of what it's about. Let's see. Thomas says, Venom, buyers on eBay rarely read anything. Personally, I do not. But for me, it's I go highlight, copy, boom, paste, boom. And I even do it on my phone. I have the same verbiage in a notepad file. I have that opened, and I just copy it and then just paste it. And I make a point to say no to counteroffers. You have to do that on the app. Whereas on the phone, on the PC, it doesn't it doesn't default it. Rand says, I just listed a helmet a few weeks ago, new in box with tags, hoping it's good to go. Yeah, you want to check on the inside of the helmet to see when it was manufactured. You could have something that's still new in the box that's been sitting on a shelf for 10 to 15 years. And I think a helmet from the manufacturing date, it's 5 years from the date is when it's supposedly okay. So go figure on that. Venom, Paul says, Venom, yes, I always send a pasted message with offers and courtesy email on dispatch. I just think it looks good. It's the extra effort. It's the extra attention to detail. It's no different than, replying to a buyer in a certain way rather than to give them a one-word answer. Maybe do it in a way that feels like, from someone looking on the outside looking in, saying, wow, that's a waste of time. But you're creating a buying experience that's not canned. It feels like a real connection between the buyer and seller. And I think I do a pretty good job of that. Venom says, currently in a heated counter offer battle with a buyer. Wish me luck. Initially offered me $30 below, so I offered $1 below. Now they went up 10. Like I said, love me some lowballers. I wouldn't play the game. I know Poshmark is sort of a thing for that. We had a person that they went up $1, we went down $1. Well, they went up $1, we down, and we finally connected and hit our. There's no room to move anywhere, and we finally made a deal. I don't like that. but I leave Jenna in charge of the Poshmark stuff to do what she wants. I prefer to say this: you offer me $10, I have it listed for 75. I'm going to come back and say, look, and I'll look at it. I'll look at a number of things. Look at their feedback left for others, because I've learned that lesson. Make sure that I'm not dealing with a maniac. Number two, I'm looking at what am I into this for? Am I into it for $5? Okay, I'm into it for $5. Well, I'm not going to sell it for 10, but maybe 50 is okay. How long has it been on my shelf? If I just listed it last night, no, sorry, I'm not doing. I just did that the other day. Not doing it. And I'm willing to take 5x on something that's been sitting, even if it seems ridiculous, even if it almost feels like I'm feeding into these lowballers. It's not about them. It's about this item's been sitting here for months. I bought it for 5. I can get 25 out of it. Do it. I know I wanted 75, but this thing's sitting here. I can buy 4 or 5 of these items and flip those items. You see, it's like a compounding thing. So one item can turn into 5, can turn into 20, can turn into 100. All that time that one item's been sitting on the shelf. That makes sense. Kent says, Ducati owners spend big money. Yes. My buddy gave me the leathers that say Ducati down the side that have like the knee pads built in. He had the whole set. He wanted 50 for the top. And I guess the top zips into the bottoms. And the guy's was a reseller, because I'm okay, you're a reseller, aren't you? Because there's no way you'd want this and that. You kind of figure it out. You're watching. I almost filmed the thing, but it was too busy. I wouldn't have been able to do that. But he bought the tops for 50, the leather top jacket that went with this set. And so now he has a broken set. He's like, you know what? You can just have it if you can sell it. So cool. I can sell it. I just don't know what the value is on it. Thomas says, I cannot find anything to validate rotating servers. Doesn't mean it's not possible, but I think it's BS personally. It is. So why are people, creating content and they're talking about it like it's a proven thing? That always kills me. Ken says, the guy with the Ducati says his bike got stolen, like he is talking about a bicycle. Rich people problem, I guess. No, it got stolen. Apparently, I think it was someone that his son knew, and they knew he had that bike. And he's like, whatever, I'll leave look, I'm not excusing it, but he left the side door of his side door for his garage was unlocked. And that was it. He left for a few hours, came back, it wasn't there. Dark Horse Productions says, you must understand, yes, there's a redundancy and backups, but in real time, hardware does fail at the time customers are accessing them. Yeah, it is. But don't you think that the sellers have an interest in knowing that, look, we've been experiencing this where buyers are buying your items and they're not able to pay for 2 to 3 days. Don't worry, payment's coming, but we're having a problem. I mean, other businesses do, on maybe not that specific, but just to say, hey, we're experiencing some problems on the back end, and in the meantime, you might see some delays. How about that? Guy Guru says they are on a Commodore 64 server. Yes, I think some people might agree with that. Devon wants to know, can you adjust your offers? What will you take? Well, once you make an offer, you can't go back and adjust anything. It's locked in. During the process of, you send them an offer, they send you one, you can either decline or counter, then you can adjust your offers then. Dark Horse says they should have proper failover mechanisms in place, but if you're set to go to a particular server, one or a few or a whole cluster can go down. That's good to know. I don't know a whole lot about that. Mainframe technology likely doesn't have all the capabilities of modern cloud services. And remember, eBay is on an older platform. So how much of that can they integrate into the cloud with the old platform that they have? So let's see. Who else do we have? We have Biff says, when a server has issues, the queries are rerouted to other servers within seconds. That's the point of having different server farms. That's what I thought. Aunt White says, less excuses, more solutions. The only problems I have are ones I create myself. It's my job and I treat it that way. There will always be things you dislike. Suck it up, adapt to the changes, and move on. Yes, I agree. And the reason why I even talk about the problems on this channel is, as sellers, we have to be able to navigate. We have to navigate so we're not running into these problems. Running into problems tends to slow you down. If you're aware of a problem, you can know it's there and then figure out another course of action. So talking about it on this channel, I hope it may sound like, well, I hope it doesn't sound like I'm complaining. It may sound like it, but it's really just the frustration of it all. And it could be avoided by simple communication. I think that's what it is. I think every platform is going to change, but it doesn't have to be without communication. That's my point. Dark Horse says it could be a misconfiguration that affects the connectivity over the internet, but that's an eBay problem. It shouldn't be an us problem. It shouldn't be our problem for having that. G-Rock says eBay is nothing what it used to be. Low sales volume and margins are horrendous. It's not as good as it was, but it's not as bad as it could be. I'll put it that way. G-Rock says, I've been selling on eBay since 2004 and about ready to leave the platform altogether, even as a buyer. Too many lowballers as a seller and trash as a buyer. Unfortunately. Sandman says, my sales are up 115% over the prior time period. Consistent listing is the key. I think you're right on that. G-Rock wants to know, what about when people accept offers and they don't pay? It happens all the time, and they especially take my listing offline. They never pay. We call it layaway. They put your item on layaway, and then they never come back and take it off of layaway. All that time, your item could have been bought by somebody else. Good news is that's not as much of a problem as it used to be. It used to be a horrendous problem. Now it's only, an item here, an item there that's not being paid for. Jerry Johnson received an offer of $5 for an item that is new and had it listed for $19.95. I countered $15.95. They declined. That was okay by me. Can't go that far down. I mean, even $10 is too far to go. How much further can you go in something like that? I mean, if you're into it for $5, you got to remember you're paying eBay fees. I hope that on top of that, you have shipping that's being charged to the buyer. In addition to that, if you have shipping built in, you really can't go any further. Biff says, some people who complain about bad service also consider promoting it at almost 30%. Yeah, I'll never go that high. Only if I do, it's going to be more of an experiment. But I'm pretty much done experimenting with promoted listings. I mean, I use promoted listings, but going on my secondary account and doing 100% promoted to see what happens, like I did that one time, I think I'm not doing that anymore. Biff says, there's definitely a boost from offers. It's eBay's Hail Mary to get you and them full price. I've seen it many times myself, and I think it's a good thing. I like that. If that's what it takes, if they need that interaction, I'm happy to interact. And that's the thing. We all know with Poshmark, they want you to interact. It's a social media / reselling app. They want you to connect with other sellers. They want you to share closets. They make that clear up front. eBay doesn't make that clear. We got to guess. If I send an offer, is that going to give my item a boost? We can only just say, well, it sold full price the last 2 times I did it, so I'm going to try it again. We have to kind of guess. And that's the thing that sucks about it. Simple Beautiful says, hey, John, no Jenna today. How many good items does a 100K store need? 100 or 10K, how many different items? Well, I have a 100K store. I have not had any more than 300 items in that store last year. And we made 130,000-ish? I have to go back and look. I haven't done my taxes yet, by the way. I procrastinate, and March is March Madness for a reason. That's when I start getting into my taxes. Yes, I procrastinate when it comes to taxes, but it gets done. Big Dre, sourcing on 50% off day went well today. I reached my budget by the second stop because the cold kept most people from thrifting. It was the 30s this morning, so I didn't have any competition. Yeah, cold will drive people away, especially like yard sales. Mike says, it definitely happens to me all the time. I accepted an offer on an item that had 2 in stock. The next day I sell the other 2 I sell the other one at list price. Okay, Venom says, what's your opinion? You just listed a high dollar item, $400, and within 3 days, within days, 3 people watching and 3 send an offer. I wait for weeks or a month before sending an offer. It could be bought full price. I do it. I've always done it for the algorithm purposes because for whatever reason, I believe it gives you a boost in the best match search. But if I have an item for $400 I just listed, I know I can come down 10 to 20 bucks and it's not going to kill me. Tommy wants the first time Tommy's ever asked my opinion, I believe. I have to check this, but I think this is the first. Had several people reach out and tell me YouTubers are telling them to charge retail and not pass on eBay shipping discount. LOL. Well, I'm going to tell you offline because it didn't go well when I mentioned it. In fact, it went poorly, but I'll have to tell you that offline. So what he's asking about is sometimes there's channels that are giving bad information, and the bad information is they were not, this particular podcast, without mentioning the names, was talking about how they never pass on the eBay negotiated shipping discounts with their buyers. And there's a place into shipping preferences where you can click a box that says, when you go and buy a label from eBay and it says, oh, save 43% with your top rated discount. So you get it for 20 instead of 30, right? So you're like, cool, I'm saving money on this label. Well, if you don't click that box that I was telling you about, it shows the buyer 30 bucks. So you think, score, I'm paying $20 for this label. I made an extra 10 bucks on the shipping, but your buyer, potential buyer, is probably turned off by the fact that your shipping's too high. And B, I just think the algorithm, in fact, I know the algorithm doesn't like when you have that clicked off. You're passing on too high a shipping cost to your buyer. So the way you get around that is you set a calculated shipping policy. I have one for Ground Advantage. I have one for FedEx. I add $1 or $2 to my handling within the policy. The buyer has no idea it's there. So a $20 label shows up to them as $22. So I will either buy it on eBay at $20, take the $2 for supplies, maybe help offset my eBay fees, or I go, which I've worked out a deal with FedEx where I go in, I can maybe get that label for $15. I just saved myself $5 extra. But I'm telling you what I'm not doing. If you're not sharing your discount with your buyer, you are hurting yourself in best match when it's sorted by price. So a lot of people will sort your items by price plus shipping. And if your shipping's too high, you're hurting yourself when it comes to competition. Let's see. Big Dre's, I got 3 trash bags of shoes and 3 trash bags of clothing. Paid $420 for all of it. Comps for everything is around $2,000. That's awesome. And we're at almost 2 hours, but I'm going to keep going for a minute. So, No Design buyers are getting social media savvy and using YouTube to get shipping discount on eBay. Sneaky. I don't know how they do that. Patricia says, not a granny and everything is cooked from scratch here. Pot roast tonight. See, that's good. I like that. But how many Gen Zers are right now choosing, do I cook something for dinner or are we going out again? I'm sure it's the latter. Lisa Nia says, I'm late, but will rewatch. Can I have some sympathy from y'all, please? Been getting everything ready for taxes. I hate paperwork. That's the reason why I'm procrastinating. I don't like it. I even had a startup company reach out to me, and my bad on that, in that I haven't messed with their software. It's supposed to be something that replaces GoDaddy, and I haven't had a chance to look at it. So I'll try to do that, and I will give you guys information for those of you who want something like that. Triple R Collections. Most households don't have enough time to cook anymore because both spouses work. I'm able to cook most nights because reselling is flexible. Yes. And if you have really a lack of time on your hands, get a slow cooker. Just, you know what, before you go to work, drop the ingredients in, throw that thing on slow. And when you get home, you got a meal ready for you. Mike says, the sad thing is restaurant food mostly tastes like crap. I'll take some cooked meals any day. Yeah, I do have my favorites that are close here. There's a Hawaiian restaurant that opened up here called Mo Betta's. Don't know if you guys know that. Wow, that's good stuff. Got to recommend anybody who has, I believe because it's a chain. I just haven't seen it before out here in Vegas. It is really good food. Yep, Devon, yes, DoorDash, Grubhub, Uber Eats. I do DoorDash sometimes to deliver, and I see a lot of young generation ordering food in DoorDash. I used to do that gig not last year, like a little over a year ago. I know it's a lot of young kids. They order the DoorDash stuff. Lisa Nia says, I think if you're still watching, you can rewind it. If you stay on the video, I think, yeah, you can still rewind it. It's not a problem. We're getting close, guys. Venom says, I also think it might be worth it for folks to buy the label printer so they can just drop off the packages, right? Sometimes have to wait in line. Yeah, if you're waiting in line at the counter, that time means money. You can check out my store if you are interested. I think I have it for like $130 with the, I think there's like 300 4x6 sheets already with it. And it has the tray, the Rollo tray. I can probably give you a deal on it if you're interested. So check out Value Trends on eBay if you're interested in that. I don't like selling things to my viewers, but if you're looking for a deal, just hit me up. Patricia, it's even faster to have uses carrier pick up in my packages. Yeah, you get those packages. I don't go to the post office at all. You have them come here and they pick up. Tommy says, Venom, my roller died. I bought a Nelco, I think it's called. It's faster and prints darker, plus has Bluetooth. $70 worth 5 times that easy. Oh, that's good to know. Interesting. I like my Rollo. Don't have to buy ink. Of course, all thermal printers are like that. But the fact that you don't have to buy ink, and it's never died on me. It's very, very reliable. Now, I had a Dymo that I bought from Costco the first month I went full time. It was the Dymo 4XL, and that thing died on me in a month. I had to take it back. Thomas says, Jenna's not coming home. Everything is bigger in Texas, according to Tracy. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. And then G Ready, I skipped that one by accident. Say, yeah, it's magical for CEOs' wallets. We've got Michael. I'm an eBay shop, and I fully agree all about the price I can buy from Alibaba was my biggest mistake, starting paying too much to begin with. Yeah, no matter how you get it, buying it at a good price is certainly where you make the money. Guide says eBay is going to lose more exposure now that they have made offsite pay to play. That was great advertising for eBay, just showing up in search results in Google. But I can tell you that's probably because of Temu. I think I said it right, where they're just throwing all kinds of money at offsite ads. So instead of eBay footing the bill, they want us sellers to do it. Tommy says it would be interesting if we knew how many sales derive from Google. My theory is the traffic wasn't worth the money for eBay, so they're allowing us to continue ourselves if we want. And I will consider continuing it once it's removed entirely from standard promoted listing. Patricia says, by the way, if you pick up used roller skates for resale, check name brand on the wheels. I found a pair with a special wheel type, and the wheels alone fetch $200. Who knew? Yeah, this is Candy GRL is the brand. These are all brand new in the box, and they're not used at all. Paul says, sorry, got to say it. Hate me if you want. Sellers have to perform well for success, but the number of people stating that they are down to 50% or more means the issues are real. It's not just blaming eBay. Not just blaming eBay. And the eBay does have their share of blame. I don't want anyone to take away from the fact that eBay has its problems. But there's other factors involved in slow sales, not just eBay. Lisa says, hey, in case anyone gets stuck with trying to do things on the app, don't forget you can go to the website on your phone to get full access like a PC. Just select website view and bookmark it too. I've never seen a website view button. I've gone into eBay.com on my Safari browser and then go down and make sure you select classic version, not the mobile version. And that will enable like 95% of what you see on the PC. Let's see what else we got here. Paul Rose, totally agree. I think both apply. It's not just one or the other. And when people are struggling, they can't change tack and start over. Both sides of the argument valid, but it has changed. We have Mandy says, I thought eBay started redoing all their servers in 2018. That's not new, but it's not 20 years old. Well, their site is 20 years old, but their servers are, they did change out their servers, I think, back in 2018. But it still doesn't tell me how their servers work. I mean, people have their own theories. I'm still kind of curious how that all ties into sellers and seller success or the lack thereof. I think people just make things up. G Ready says, I rarely promote. Think all resellers should stop the promotion. Fees. Tired of fee hikes. Recently signed up for instant payment and they hit you with 25-cent each deposit. Crazy fees. The problem is, G Ready, if we all everyone watching this right now, or who did watch it that went away, anyone who watches any YouTubers that talk about eBay, got together and 100% of us banded together and stopped using promoted listings, you'd still have at least, I'm guessing at least 70% of people, maybe that's high, maybe not, but a good percentage, the majority of sellers who don't spend time watching YouTubers would still do it. And they would benefit. We'd still be going, where are the sales? You're never going to get 100% of the sellers on board with any kind of union or banding together or not doing something like that. Andy says, remember, you have to pay fees on your shipping you charge. Plus, if you have promotions of 10%, then you're paying like 23% of the shipping. So if 5 collected extra fees is $1.15. Don't forget about the tax. eBay will charge you on the tax that they collect that you never see. We got Sweet Thang says, that's highway robbery, Mandy. Plus, if eBay doesn't start advertising, they might as well pack up their crayons and go home. They need to do something. I mean, if you think about it, the generation that knows about eBay, that is used to eBay, that maybe turns to eBay as their first place to go, well, we're not getting any younger. And some are dying off, I hate to say. And you're losing market share just from attrition. Tommy says, yeah, that's the problem. Imagine telling a psychologist that you're starting a business and going to take advice from YouTube to run it and let it determine your livelihood. Can you say Baker Act? Yep. And then we have Dark Horse Productions. Is crazy internet issues, but it's most likely my mangled Ethernet cables. Time to upgrade that modem. I think we're kind of through. I think I'm actually past the sidebars here, and I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me for a solid 2 hours and 7 minutes. I mean, that was a workout, guys. I didn't even take a drink. So I'm pretty proud of myself that I kept this thing going. But guess what? It ain't because of me. It's because you guys were here and you were contributing with some great topics, great conversation. And that's what drives this program. So thank you guys, each and every one of you, for being here and doing that. You know what? I don't care what eBay does. eBay is going to do what they've decided they're going to do. They may claim they want our feedback, but it's kind of really not. They really don't. They're going to continue to go along with the plan that they've had in works for the last X amount of years. And that's fine. It's good to have a plan. But when you're tweaking things and you're screwing things up and you're making things different just for the sake of making them different without any explanation as to what's going on, well, I got a problem with that. And hopefully eBay, you're out there listening. But figuring all that out to make it work for your business, even though eBay won't talk to you, is yet another example of how flipping ain't easy. And I want you guys to have an excellent week, and we will talk to you guys very soon. Take care, everyone.